My name is Sola Sufyan and my metric number is 283133. Assalamualaikum and hi. I'm going to give you an overview of introduction. Ajinomoto Company is the company we have chosen for our coursework. First, we are required to calculate the financial ratio of Ajinomoto Company using 10 financial tools in order to organize this report. Financial ratio are typically analyzed using the current position, account receivable, and profitability analysis. Second, current position analysis is using to determine a company's abilities to meet current and non-current requirements. A working capital, current ratio, and quick ratio are three methods. Third, an analysis of account receivable. Account receivable are the sum owed by customer to a company. Fourth, profit analysis, which is basically the net profit from capital after all overhead costs have been deduct will help track the performance of the business. Lastly, other factors that allow decision makers to have a clear view of each year, a company corporation or a company listed on the Bursa Malaysia must submit an annual report summarizing its operation during the preceding year, including Ajinomoto Company. A financial statement is included in the annual report. Financial statements such as an income statement, a balance sheet, a statement of change in owner equity, and a cash flow statement are included. The purpose of this report is to examine the financial statement measure of the company as well as possible condition of factors, all of which are supported by statement in various sections of the annual report. We are required to calculate Ajinomoto financial ratio using 10 financial tools in order to organize this report. A financial ratio is an important cost that can be calculated using information for a company's financial statement.
For the company background, Ajinomoto Malaysia Berhad began production of Ajinomoto monosodium glutamate in 1961. It was one of the first Japanese companies to set up shop in the country. Since then, Ajinomoto Malaysia Berhad has grown into a successful food and spice company with a well-known brand that Malaysians have relied on for decades. Next, the company's mission is to bring smiles to people's face and contribute to their well-being through consumer-oriented food products and service. In addition, the Ajinomoto Company is dedicated to environment protection and improvement in all aspects of its business. They are also committed to providing a safe and healthy working environment for all workers and those who are involved in their operations. Furthermore, they promise to continuously create, distribute, and supply halal food products that fulfill regulatory requirements and consumer needs, as well as comply with the Department of Islamic Development Malaysia's halal requirements JAKI.
Course of action. The Ajinomoto Group has experienced continued growth due to this effort to generate social and economic value to this operation. Corporate governance is one of the most important parts of the Ajinomoto Group Management Foundation to accelerate the effort of the Ajinomoto Group creating shared value (ESV) initiative to achieve this ambition of becoming a solution provider group for food and health problems. The Ajinomoto Group believes that they will continue to work to establish proper internal control system and operation, as well as deepen dialogue and collaboration with stakeholders to solve the problem facing society of the 21st century and become the foundation of ESV, which will continue to increase the value of company.
Total working capital in Ajinomoto Groups in 2020 is 320 million. It's more than 2019. It's about 299 million. So because the working capital is it used to evaluate the company's abilities to pay the current liabilities, but the working capital is difficult to use for the different sizes company. Next is current ratio. Okay, current ratio Ajinomoto Groups in 2020 is less than 2019. It because some of the crises such as pandemic, COVID-19 and so on. So The current ratio is used to evaluate the company's abilities to pay the short-term obligations such as account payable and wages payable. So the higher the result, the stronger the financial statement of the company. So in 2020 is less than 2019. So it proved that 2019 financial position is good, better than 2020. So next is quick ratio. Quick ratio is about the company's ability to pay off the short-term debt quickly. So in the table, the total of quick ratio in 2020 is less than 2019. So it shows that in 2020 the company is able to pay the debt with the current asset, but not in the 2020, because the highest debt in quick ratio, it shows that the most stable financial position of that company. Thank you.
The account receivable turnover ratio measures how many times a business can collect average account receivable during the year. The table shows the receivable turnover acquired by Ajinomoto Berhad for 2 years, 2019 and 2020. In the year 2019, the Ajinomoto Berhad received highest receivable turnover than 2020 by 9.60 and showed the lowest point on 9.21 in 2020. It is because the company sales was decreased during the year 2020 due to pandemic COVID-19, and sugarcane cultivation in Malaysia is less encouraging. The number of days sales in receivable is an estimate of the time that the account receivable have been outstanding. The number of days sales in receivable is often compared with the company's credit term, evaluate the efficiency of collection of receivable. So if Ajinomoto's company credit terms are 2% per 10 days, net per 30 days, Ajinomoto's company was very inefficient in collecting receivable in 2019 and 2020. In other words, receivable should have been collected in 30 days or less, but Ajinomoto collected 38.0 in 2019 and 39.6 in 2020. The ratio of liabilities to stockholders' equity measures how much of the company is financed by debt and equity. So in the table, Ajinomoto's company, the ratio of liabilities of stockholders' equity increased from 0.15 to 0.17 during 2020. It indicates the Ajinomoto company creditors do not have an adequate margin of safety.
I'll be explaining on profitability analysis. Profit margin is calculated by net income divided by net sales. The profit margin of Ajinomoto Malaysia Berhad in 2020 is 12.96%, is higher than the year 2019, which is 12.64%. Each ringgit of sales gives the profit of Rm 0.1296 million in 2020 and only Rm 0.1264 million in 2019 for the same situation. The difference is 0.32%. The profit margin measures that shows the ability of the business to generate net profit from every ringgit of sales. Gross profit margin. Gross profit margin is calculated by gross profit divided by net sales. Gross profit margin ratio measures and assists in assessing the efficiency of the company in using raw materials and employees during the production process. The gross profit margin of Ajinomoto company has experienced an increase over 2 years, where in 2019 it was at a level of 28.50% and increased at the next year, which is 30.6%. It is because there is an addition of 30.6% to the sales to obtain the selling price. Rate earned on total assets is calculated by net income at interest expenses divided by average total assets. The ratio of sales to assets of Ajinomoto Malaysia Berhad in 2018 is 0.127%, is higher than in year 2019, which is 0.118%. It is because the company are able to fit the most possible use out of a small investment in assets with 0.127% in 2018. Rate earned on stockholders' equity is calculated by net income divided by average total stockholders' equity. The rate earned on stockholder equity of Ajinomoto Malaysia Berhad in 2018 is 12.54%, is more than in year 2019, which is 12.46%. The rate of profits earned on the amount invested by the stockholders in 2018 is higher than the rate of profits earned on investment by stockholders in 2019.
Conclusion. Every year, company listed on Bursa Malaysia must present an annual report summarizing the previous year operation. One of them is from the company Ajinomoto Malaysia Berhad, which is a successful food and spice company. The Ajinomoto company is dedicated to protection and improvement the environment in all aspects of this business. We are asked to calculate the company financial ratio. Ajinomoto use 10 financial tools, which include 3 current position analysis, 2 account receivable analysis, liability to shareholder equity ratio, and 10 profitability analysis.